and welcome to my channel. So today we're going to be doing this painting by numbers, or we're going to make a start on it. I've never done a painting by number before, but if you've not seen it, I received this in a happy mail. I'll put the link to that video up in the corner. But yeah, basically the person who originally got this bought it by accident and they very kindly gave it to me to do instead. So these I think are acrylic paints. I hope so, because I hate oil paints. They're just, the brushes are a nightmare. So yeah, we've got our paints, we've got our canvas. Now I will leave a I'll put a little picture here, hopefully on the screen, of what it's supposed to look like when completed. Well, or at least this is the picture that came off the website. So this came from a company called Huacan on AliExpress. I'll also leave a link to this in the description, just in case you're interested in buying it. But yeah, so basically this is the kit. I'm going to use the brushes that came with the kit because, you know, let's find out if these things actually work straight out the box. I do have other brushes, but yeah, we'll see if these really cheap, what these really cheap ones are like. Included with it as well, they do give you this little printout on just on paper. So this is basically a very rough copy of the canvas, and basically it's there so that if you paint over the number on the canvas and you want to check that you've done it right, or you want to put a second coat on, then you can refer to this sort of I guess a little road map of your canvas, just to find out what the digit is for a section. And then I have also got a regular jar of water, so this is what we're going to put our paintbrushes in. Hang on, let's do that now. So they've got the little plastic caps on these to protect the brushes, so we'll take those off and we'll just pop these all straight in the jar, because new brushes usually come with a little bit of a coating on it. So this is what I'm going to use to wash out the hopefully acrylic paint to clean the brushes, so that's probably going to get quite dirty, and because of that I've got a separate dish, just a very shallow one with a little bit of water. Basically after I've washed the brushes, I'll dip it in here just to make sure there's no you know, murky water. It's fine with dark colours. If we was working with black you wouldn't see it, but if once we move on to, as you can see, there's a lot of peaches and whites and pinks, and we don't want the black contaminating. So obviously the paint most of the paint will be in that big jar, but just to make sure no dirty water comes with it, we'll just give it a quick dip in there as well. And then I've got a couple of pieces of paper towel just to dab out the brush on, and yeah, that's it. We've got the canvas. So let's just zoom in the camera a bit, because I've got you quite a long way out at the moment. We'll get you in a bit close to the canvas. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start on the dark colours, because I think it's easier to work from dark to light, because if I start putting white over the white areas and the lighter areas, it's going to be harder to see what's left because the canvas is white. So if we do the dark colours and then work lighter, then, you know, by natural progression we're going to be left with lighter and whiter spaces, which, you know, shows us where our number is. And I get the feeling probably in a few places we will be having to not struggle, but, you know, when I do diamond paintings, no matter how hard I look, I always miss a drill, and I always have to go back and you know, fit it in. So I'm going to miss bits. I know I am, because that's the way I am. But I did notice just when I was setting up, interestingly, because black, what looks like black, close to black, is these areas that they've shaded. So all of the shading they've done on the canvas is obviously with the darker colours, but that's also going to help with, I don't know how opaque these paints are going to be, but obviously having grey on the canvas instead of white, and we're putting black over the top of it, that's going to help us if the paints aren't completely opaque. So that might mean that we don't have to put a second coat on. So yeah, we'll be starting with the darker colours, and then we'll see how it goes. I think we'll start maybe around this area, because we've got quite a few of the darker areas. Black is 13. Okay, so we've got some 13 here and 13 up here. So yeah, maybe we'll start up here as that would be easier and a bit more interesting to do than some of these larger areas. Yeah, let me get the camera in then. Right then, so honestly I have no idea how to do this. As I say, I've not done a painting by number before, at least not as an adult. So let's look at these brushes. Just dab them out so I don't drip water on them, because I'm going to use one of the finer brushes I think to start. We do have this wider one, but I think we'll save that. That's going to be good for, you know, like pieces like this. Well, you can't actually see it because that's virtually off the screen, but the larger areas basically. So we won't be using that today. I think I'll give the middle one a go. That seems like a happy compromise. And if that seems too cumbersome, then we'll move to the smaller one. Now, I'm usually a bit rubbish at brushwork. I'm the same with watercolours, in that I don't know, I can't control the brush in the same way as I do a pen for some reason. I think it's psychological, since I have no problems with things like Copics, which have brush nibs. But we'll see. So let's get this. We'll do number 13 first. I'll just open this to the side in case it explodes, because I'm ever the optimist. So I'm just gonna, because we've got all that ink paint in the cap. So I think what we'll do, I'll put that there, and then we'll just pick up some paint from the cap. That seems to be defying gravity at the moment, but we'll try that. So this is 13. So let's go for something small, because yeah. I'll just paint this in very carefully. I did consider swatching these. I thought, well, what's the point? I might as well just put it straight on the canvas. We'll see how it swatches there. So I don't actually mind though if there's rough edges. I saw somebody make a comment the other day about the painting by number, saying, oh, I'm not very good at it because I always go over the lines. Because it's a painting, it doesn't matter if you go over the lines, because you know, that makes it look a bit more natural. So I'll be trying to actually blend out where the lines are between paints. I mean, I don't know how successful I'll be at that, because I don't know what I'm doing, but that's what I'm going to try and do, because we want it to be a rough edge. Okay, so it coped fairly well with that little gap. I probably should have used a smaller brush for that. I'll know in future. Right, what else should we do? There's another 13, so we'll do that one. Sorry, I'm probably not going to be super chatty in this video. I'm not the best at colouring chats anyway, or in this case at painting by chat, but obviously I'm really kind of thinking, focusing. If you can imagine that scenario, frowning, tongue sticking out of the mouth because I'm thinking, it's that kind of thing. So yeah. Now it does I think it is acrylic paint. I've not washed the brush yet. Maybe I should try that, but it doesn't smell of oil paint, which is good. I did think it was acrylic, to be honest, and I was surprised when it said oil on the description, but I think that's just a question of they don't really know you know, I do like AliExpress, but obviously there's a bit of a language issue sometimes, especially in descriptions. Oops. Because a lot of the sellers are Chinese or Asian, you know, or I think there's Russian as well. So, you know, they can speak English better than I can speak Chinese and Russian, that's for sure. Right. What else have we got that's 13? Do you know what? I was looking at that on the canvas and thinking, oh, that's a bit of a funny splodge. And now I've just looked at it through the viewfinder, and you can see it as an eye. So yeah, don't be if you are doing a canvas like this. I guess this is a bit like a diamond painting. Obviously, you're looking at it quite close up, and because this is quite a big canvas, this is a 50 by 40 canvas, so it is quite large. That is all black, isn't it? Yes, it is quite a large canvas. So, and you know, I've got my nose to it. Well, not literally, but figuratively. You know, I'm studying this quite close to the image. And so I'm not getting like the context, but further away I already saw just doing that one black bit, which is really cool. Sorry, I'm having a little bit of a geek out now. So I must concentrate, because obviously when you start to cover the line, in fact, if you're going to do anything, I think, because you're doing it in dark colours, it might be best to just go inside the line until you know you've got that part done. Because otherwise you're not going to be able to tell which bits you've done. So this will be interesting, because I can tell quite straight away this requires an element of patience, which isn't always my strong point. I went out the line, but don't worry, it'll be fine. Everything will be okay. It'll be fine. What can go wrong? Oops, I've done it again. Okay, because I'm doing the brush strokes, let's go do downward strokes, shall we? Because that's 3 times there I went, like the tip of the brush sort of bent and flicked. I mean, I don't mind going over the edges, but let's, not get too carried away. Get some of this paint off this brush as well. I always forget that acrylic a little bit goes a really, really long way. So that's another thing. Don't panic if you ever get one of these painting by numbers, because you get these little tubs, these little pots, which are really small. Don't worry, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. I'll be very surprised if you run out of paint. I'm just having to work this bit a little bit more because of the, you know, where the crisscross of the woven thread is in the canvas. It was leaving little, I mean, if you see there, it leaves a little sort of checkerboard. So I do need to work that a little bit more. I'm actually hoping that I don't make too much of a mess with this. So far so good. I mean, I think as long as I don't drop my brush on the table or knock my water jar over, then it's all quite controlled, because the canvas is obviously taking out, covering a lot of the table. Right. I think I'm happy enough with that. Okay, I should have started left to right, shouldn't I? Schoolgirl error. Do I have any more 13s? I'll do that. Can I reach that? Let's see if I've got any 13s on this side. Okay, a little bit up here. Do you know what? Let's leave that one. I'll come back and do that one with the small brush just to see what that's like. Let's see if I've got any more. Right, so there's a small bit of, oh, that's another. See, now, okay, no, let's do it. Oh, that's barely in frame. Well, it's only a tiny little splodge of 13. You didn't miss much. Right, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put this in my thing, and I'm going to try this little baby brush just to do, where was it? Right, this little bit up here. So yeah, I will obviously try. I can see the viewfinder from where I sit. I deliberately put the viewfinder like below my eye level. So if you hear me breathing, it's because you're right in front of my face. But I will try to keep checking to make sure that you're in frame. Now, is there any other little bits? opposite frame. Yes. Right, let's do that bit, even though I could have done that with the bigger brush now, but look, we've got this little tiny little strip, so this is where that fine brush comes in handy. Was that part of that? Well, it is now. So yeah, you do have to pay attention a bit, because obviously if I just stopped there then and left the canvas, I'd be like, have I covered over the edge and that's finished, or is this another part? And obviously because that is empty of a number, that's the only clue I have that this is that one. But if I'd done other colours around it, I wouldn't know which one it is, and that's when I would have to use my paper chart. Right, okay, so that's the black. Wow, on the screen that looks a lot cooler than what I'm seeing on the canvas, but that's really good. Right, so I'm just gonna close that up, make sure that the lid is firmly clipped on, because we don't want to dry it out. Let's do one of these other colours then. So what's next to it? This is 21. Do we have any 21s? Oh, we've got some 21 there. So let's do that. 21 is a grey. Again, we've got a nice big dollop in the lid, so I'm just going to take from that and use my, which brush? The medium brush. Right. Now that time I actually used my second pot just to make sure I'd got all the dirty water off of it. And let's do this one then. Now let's see, let's start down here. I do also dab off the brush of water. That's what I use my paper towel for, because obviously if you dip a wet brush in your acrylic, then that's going to water that down, which we might need to do if we leave the pot open for a while. It might start to dry out, in which case a little bit of water won't do any harm. It'll help it become a bit smoother again if it gets a bit claggy. But I only want to do that obviously on my terms, not on... Oh, that was a bit of a big dollop. Let's go in that big space there. Spread it around. Oops. It's fine. We went out the line. It's fine. And a bit more 21 down here. So yeah, I have no idea if I'm doing this right. I mean, well, I say doing it right, there isn't a wrong way, I don't think, to do art as such, but question of whether I'm doing, so it's not a question of whether I'm doing it the right way, it's whether I'm doing it the easiest way. But this is what's working for me, so. Alright, any more 21? Is that in screen? No, not really. Let me... It's a bit of a game, really. Hunt the number. Okay, I'll just move this canvas up a little bit, hopefully. Oh, I can't. I stuck it down. Well, I didn't stick it down, I weighted it down in the corners, and it's... right, ignore that. Let's do a different colour then, because there wasn't as much 21 as I thought there would be. So let's see, what have we got? Sorry if you hear the kids screaming. I think it must be lunchtime or they're on break or whatever. Oh, we've got lots of 6. So let's do some 6 from this other pot, this other tray. Excellent, another pot open and no explosions. So this is another grey. So yeah, washed out my brush, dabbed it out to dry it. Right, let's do some 6. Let's do this bit. Got a bit too much paint on the brush, so that's why I'm just dragging it down so that I don't get a big splodge on the end. There we go. What was we doing? Number 6. So this is all number 6 in here. Okay, we'll start it there. I thought for a minute that was that one, but that's number 15. So I must have just where I've gone over the edge there with the black. So this is where we've got overlapping colours. So I'm just going to make a little bit of effort to. So I've still got a fair bit of paint on the brush at the moment, so that's why I'm using on the larger areas here. And then just now that I don't have so much paint on the brush, just my tip, I'm just going to try and soften up that edge, because I don't want it to be a line. So all that business of I go outside the lines, it doesn't matter. Especially the grey here, I just want to blend it. Right, do the next bit. Oops. Right. So So again, I've unloaded my brush a bit with the paint, so we'll just, that's where I'm gonna just soften that edge. Oops, softened that quite a lot, didn't I? Huge splodge. Right. But ideally, I mean, obviously you're going to see where the colours meet on the black, because black is harsh. But this grey, they're two different greys. I mean, you can see they are two different greys, but we're going to hopefully soften that edge so that it's more of a, so it's blending, so there's not that harsh edge. Yeah, I like that. Let me just close that. I'm just going to give that a moment to dry, because that was quite a big area and the paints are overlapping, so it's a bit thick, and I can see that's still wet. So I'm not going to do a huge amount more of this painting in this video, because I mean, there is a phrase, isn't there, about watching paint dry. There's only so much paint watching paint dry that you can take. But I do want to do a little bit more, but I'm just going to wait for that to dry a little bit. So yeah, back in a moment. Right, back again. It's still shiny, but it's actually dry now. So yeah, and also I've moved you down a little bit because that bit was out of frame, and this is where I seem to be working. But what I thought I would do now, I know I said I'd start with the darker colours, and it's going to make a bit of a rod for my own back, but I wanted this to be interesting, so I thought we'll do one of these lighter colours. What should we do? What have we got? We've got quite a lot of this 11, which is pink. So let's do something a bit brighter. Or what's 12? Maybe we'll do both. Let's start with the pink though, the darker one, which is 11. Okay, so again, we're just going to work from the lid. Now, how big are these bits? We've got a bit of both. Bit of both sizes, so we'll start with the bigger ones. Just making sure I don't paint the wrong colour, as if I would ever do such a thing like that, because that would imply that I'm really easily distracted. Done that. I'm just gonna softly speckle that. To get rid of those, so we don't have too many harsh lines. What have we got that's big and 11? Okay, let's do this one. So yeah, this one does seem to be pretty opaque. I wondered when it got to lighter colours whether it would still be covering those numbers, but it does. This one at least does. I'm sure there will be some colours that won't be opaque, and I'll have to do a second coat. but I'm enjoying this. I'll be quite sad to stop. In fact, I might, after this, I might carry on for a bit. Well, check my work, but then if I've got time, come back and do some more. If I do, I'll add it on as a time lapse, which, you know, will probably be like 20 seconds at the end of this video. But it means you'll see a bit more of it. And but yeah, we'll see. I'm not sure how long it's going to take me. It seems to be faster than the diamond painting. Because when you do the areas, the bigger areas, do you know what, I'm just... There's my little paintbrush. I'm just going to, because I've got a bit too much... Oh, there's a drip of water there. That was a bit thick and claggy. So I've just used this clean brush to you know, not actually paint it on but take it off, if that makes sense. Spread it around a bit. Right, well, as I've got this little brush, I may as well carry on. Yes, that's where I saw a little bit. So that's 11. So yeah, I thought it'd be nice to get a bit of colour in, as opposed to just doing the blacks and the greys. Oops. I get the feeling I'm going to be saying that a lot. Oops. But yeah, I know it's not the darkest colour. It's a fairly dark pink, but I think I can live with a little patch of doing this. Did have a little hint of the number showing through there, but we'll see. we have any more 11? Yeah, quite a bit of 11. So obviously this is on her face, but also in the flowers, it seems. There's a little bit up there. Let's do this little. I think we'll just finish up with this light brush. This is the thin brush I'm using. I'll just do this little bit and then I'll go back to my medium brush because I just want to do these couple of little bits here which are a bit bigger. There was another big area, where did I see it? I don't know. Let's do this bit. That was the bit I was looking for before. Oops. There we go. Whoops. It's fine. And if these paints are quite opaque, which they do seem to be, by doing the darker colour first, then we'll go lighter, that'll go over the top. So the oops won't even notice too much. Though again, this is a bit like, it is so busy, just like with a colouring book picture. Even if you do make a mistake, there's so much going to be going on that nobody's going to know in the grander scheme, unless I did all the pink on the picture blue by accident and she had a blue face. You know, it'd have to be something really obvious like that for... Yeah, so that's not 100% opaque. I can just see the 11 through. That's okay. I'll do a second coat of those where needed. But it might not even be needed. It's so faint. I mean, maybe if I wanted to frame it, who knows, I might get to the end and think, wow, that's amazing. In which case I would put a second coat on and frame it. It seems unlikely that my first painting by numbers would be so amazing that I'd want to do that, but never say never. Oh, sun's trying to come out. Wow. Right, I think we've done enough of 11 for now. We'll do one more colour just in here to just fill it out a little bit, see if we get some more blending done. Well, what should we do? Something interesting. Let's do 12, which is here. It's another fleshy tone, and because we've got a big wedge there, let's do right. Yes, and this is a really flesh tone. Which, yeah, is quite, oops, what's that? Which is quite hard to see against the white. So I do think, I won't do too much of this then, because that's just making it harder for me later. But I do think my plan to start with the dark colours first, because then obviously I'll just know that it'll be easier to see where the lighter colours are supposed to go, because that'll be like the only spot left in the canvas, if you know what I mean, because all the dark colours will be around it. But it does mean I'm having trouble seeing, you know, that checkerboard effect that I said that is more obvious on the dark colours. It's actually harder to spot where I've missed. So I suppose if you can't see where it looks patchy, then it won't show in the finished picture either. Right. Just washing my brush there because it did feel a bit. Oops. I didn't clean it out enough, so I made my little pot a bit dirty there. Yeah, because I worked that so much on there, it made my brush a bit gunky. So number 12, and yeah, you can see the symbol through there, so I'll definitely have to come back in and do those, give those a second coat. So let's just do, oops, let's just do this, and then I'll zoom you out and you can see the progress. And if I do carry on, then I'll just stick it on as a time lapse at the end, which, you know, from your point of view, it might be half an hour or an hour. For me, for you, it would probably be like 10 seconds. In fact, I won't zoom you out now. I'll just go straight to time lapse, and I'll zoom you out the end, because otherwise I've just got to mess about with it anyway. Right, okay, I'm going to stop there from your point of view. Just keep watching. This is the time lapse. Right, so there is the story so far. I did it for about another hour in the time lapse, maybe a little bit longer. If you're curious, this is what the water looks like from the big one. You can see that it's really disgusting. In comparison, for the second dip, it's clear. I mean, well, there's a tiny little bit of fogginess to it, but you know, that is why we do the second dip, just to make sure the things that came out there go into there, and by the time we get to our paints, then our light colours stay light and pure. So just to remind you, this is the picture from AliExpress. So yeah, that's it in comparison. Obviously very early days yet, but I'm liking what I'm seeing, especially through the viewfinder, because obviously on the camera it's showing it from further away. It gives that smaller perspective than what I'm seeing in person on the canvas. And yeah, I really like what I see. So I hope that answered your questions, you know, satisfied your curiosity, whatever, you know, cropped up if you saw this in the Happy Mail. I wouldn't be surprised if you saw this in my November finished pages. It's a big project though, so we shall see, but I enjoyed this, and I'm not going to lie, I enjoyed it more than I expected. It became very much a just one more bit, just that, yeah, just that, and I've had to drag myself away. Otherwise, I would just do this. Oh, life, it gets in the way of like doing fun things. So yeah, I've got to stop because I've got things to do, but I really want to. I can't wait to get back to this now. That's how much I'm enjoying it. So yeah, I would not be surprised to see this in my November finish pages. So watch out for it. You never know. It'll probably spring up on Instagram first as well if you follow me on Instagram. My Instagram, it's the same as the channel name, but there's a link down in the description if you're interested. But yeah, that's it. If you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. I don't mind. Just let me know what you think. And if you're not subscribed, obviously subscribe to the channel, and if you hit the bell you get notifications of new videos. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day. Take care and see you again soon. Bye.